Hey guys. Hey, we are coming live tonight to talk to you guys about purpose. It is a continuation of a conversation that we have been having all weekend. So, super excited to be here. Super excited to, um, hey, coach, super excited
Hey,
come and share with you guys about how important your purpose is. And it's so important that you don't realize that it affects your bottom line. What does that mean? That means that your purpose will provide for you. That means that your purpose will pay you. Your gifts will make room for you. So, hey, I'm excited to be here. My name is Chanel Blackmore. I am here tonight with Coach Danielle Winningham, who is the prophets to my purpose, the wind beneath my wings, and then Medina James, who is an amazing new purpose coach that's going to be here tonight to talk about her experience. So, ladies, you want to give yourselves a quick introduction, and then we're going to roll on up out of here.
well, we done changed the format a little bit. We introduce ourselves as we go because we come to serve the people with their purpose first. And it's amazing how many times, good evening, Terrell, we've heard people say your gifts will make room for you, but do they understand what they're saying? That's going to be my question tonight. Do you understand what you're saying when you say it? It's one thing to say things, but have you taken those words and broken them down into a true meaning? So when it says your gifts, what gifts are you talking about? Your Christmas gifts, your gifts to the Goodwill, to the Salvation Army. Just what gifts are these? And where did these amazing gifts come from? And how will they make room for me? See, we got to stop going to church and we got to start being church. And what I mean by that is church is not a building. Church is not a pastor, a bishop, or a reverend. When you hear people talk about church, the first thing they want to talk about is whose congregation you're in. When we all in the congregation of the Most High, you want to talk about what your building address is, but do you even understand the words that they're reading to you, that you reading out loud, that you stand up and chant? Because if you did, you would be doing some serious soul searching about why these words not matching up with what I'm living. You would be doing some real soul searching as to, okay, it says my gifts. Okay, what are my gifts? Some of y'all don't even know. I remember doing a book writing class not too long ago, Chanel and Medina, and I asked them, I said, write about what you know about the most. And there was about 300 people in the class. And out of that 300 people, about 4 or 5 of them women honestly looked at me and said, I don't know what I'm good at. I'm going to let y'all comment on that. For you to go through this world and have no clue as to what your gifts are. But I bet your neighbor know it because that's the thing they send they children over to your house to borrow. See, because once I started getting grown, people stopped borrowing sugar and they started borrowing errands. Say, my mama said, can you send a cake over here? No butter, no sugar, no eggs. Send the whole cake. The world is steady begging you for your gifts. And you sitting there in the blind and in the dark, not able to add two and two to say to yourself, beggars are choosy. And if your gifts wasn't a good thing, they wouldn't even want them. If your gifts was horrible, People would have the audacity to say no thank you. So when's the last time you broke down the fact that your gifts will make room for you? I'm gonna let y'all talk about it.
Well, when I first came into the community, Purpose Pusher was one of my first choices. And I am so glad and elated that I took that course, because what I thought my purpose was, I learned through that course that the administrative skills that I have that I thought meant nothing actually was my purpose. It's part of my purpose. Just the other day I was on with Coach and she said, "You're a project manager." And I am the leader of every project. And I always wonder at work, well, why do they always ask me, you lead this, you lead that, you
It's
lead
not a
this?
mistake. It's not. That's what I want y'all to understand. That's another thing. Medina, I'm gonna hand it back to you, but I want to pull out these key points so our audience don't get mistaken. And if you haven't registered, so we can give you a call to help you identify what you need to do to get to your purpose. Go to bit.ly/purpose power 2020. But I'm gonna bring that back around. I'm gonna bring that back around to they knew.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the danger in you not knowing is you stand to get your gifts abused.
Yes.
You stand to get your gifts undercompensated. You can't even reconcile in your own mind just how important in a catch as catch can, upside down, topsy turvy world, the gift of order and structure and project management is. Our theme for the night has been we're counting ourselves out.
Yep.
So you counted yourself out. And it took you investing
Yes.
it, not just the money. I talked to somebody today. I said, you ain't got enough money to do this thing without investing your time, energy, and effort, sweat equity, and elbow grease. It ain't enough money that exists for you to be a success and not do the work.
That's right.
So Medina, you was sitting up at working, and what did you think?
It just happened just last week too. After you made that comment and they said, do this, you go ahead. I want you to do all this. Just lead the whole thing. I thought, Lord have mercy. I'm just sitting here walking in my purpose and don't even understand. And I remember when I was going through the class, Chanel would always say, we just don't really interpret that scripture correctly. Your gifts and talents will make room for you. And it wasn't, I read the scripture all the time. I say it all the time. It wasn't until she actually brought it to life that, what God meant. He said, the things that I've poured into you, that's where your abundance come from. Those things that I poured into you. And we have to do the work. We have to do the work. It's not just about, oh, I'm going to go take this class and I'm going to just, come out with this certification. No, you have to do the work. It's time. You got to put in what one of the sisters say, you have to have some skin in the game. So it takes work.
Or let me tell you the downside of that, or live as you are forever. Sometimes you don't know. And guys, if you haven't shared the broadcast, make sure you share the broadcast, because somebody somewhere just might be in search of their purpose. And the downside of that is that you don't know what you don't know until somebody tells you. So meanwhile, you're running around thinking you don't have value. Meanwhile, you're running around letting people undercharge you. Meanwhile, you're running around thinking that other people are better than you. There is no, T.D. Jakes, one of the sermons I love most, he talked about how everybody won't be in the front, but nobody's position is any less than anybody else's position.
That's right.
A general, he ain't nothing without his army. He can sit in there and strategize and play with them little paper men all he wants. But at the end of the day, if he doesn't have anybody to go to the line for him, one of my Liberian mentors used to say, a leader without followers is just a man out for a walk. Who are you if you don't have somebody that believes in where you're going enough to follow you? But you can't expect anybody to follow you if you don't know where you're going yourself. If you haven't identified your own gifts, if you haven't identified your own talents. Let me tell you why a job ain't gonna never tell you. Because if a job has to tell you you're a project manager, that means you make more money. I'd rather call you a clerk. I'd rather call you a mailroom assistant. I would rather call you a junior librarian, a junior associate. I'd rather call you something that doesn't mean that you can go define that position and figure out how much I'm really supposed to be paying you. So if you're waiting on a job to tell you what your purpose is, baby, they don't want to pay for that purpose. Here again, your gifts will make room. Even at a job, your gifts can't be contained. But do you know what you're worth? Do you know how much your father put inside of you? Do you know how he took his time and his energy and his effort, and he was so deliberate to make nobody else? I want y'all to think about it. I want 15 seconds. For 15 seconds, I want you to just think. And for 15 seconds, I want you to think about how as big and different as the world is, how many people walk around on the face of this planet. There's only one you. Close your eyes and think about it. Let that wash over you. When I was 1 year old, there was only one Danielle Patterson Winningham in the world that was one. And when I was 5 years old, in all of the world, there was only one Danielle Patterson. I don't care how hard you look. And when I turned 16, whether I had a birthday party or not, isn't that humbling? Just to think about the fact that he took his time and patience and love and created you.
And you know what, Coach? He's so intentional about that creation piece of the process for you individually that he created your DNA. I want y'all to listen to me. He created your DNA to interact with the breath that he breathed into your body. That means your DNA had to rise to the expectation.
Come on now.
Of what he put in you. I'm gonna let y'all marinate on that a minute. You gotta understand how intentional he was about the gifts that he gave you, how intentional he was about your assignment, about your purpose, about what you were supposed to be doing, that even your DNA has to obey him when you won't. Your greatness is going to rise to the occasion that he called you to, even if you won't accept it or you won't submit to your call. When you don't submit to the call that he placed on your life, that's what creates this void. That's what creates this longing to chase a title. That's what creates this. I'm going to continue to believe these lies these people tell me because I know there's something great in me. I feel it rising up. But every other bar that is set by something other than the creator, it will leave you hollow when you reach it.
And you know what, Chanel, that's the frustration. A lot of times we get so frustrated. I'm supposed to be doing something, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I encourage anybody watching this broadcast live, if you're watching the replay, let me tell you, you are out of his will when you're not operating in purpose.
Come on, say that again, Medina. Now
You are out of his will when you are not operating in purpose. He has placed us here to do a specific thing. And when you're not doing that specific thing, I'm telling you, you might get up right here and you're going to come back down. You'll rise up, you're going to come back down. So until you know exactly what your purpose is, I'm telling you, you may say, oh, I made this money. I can attest when I first came. Yeah, I had several businesses, but they were not to the potential that they could be. One, I didn't get coaching help. I tried to do it on my own, invent the wheel that was already invented out there, struggled and just was frustrated after frustration. I encourage you, go to bit.ly/Purpose Power 2020 right now and register, because this is the time that you need to get in alignment with God. We need to be in alignment. I feel like the wealth transfer is going on and you're going to miss the mark. You're going to miss the mark. Why? Because you're out of his will. You're not doing your purpose.
You know how I think about it, Medina? I think about it as like football. When the quarterback is not in position, the team lose, right? I learned that at Coach House this weekend. I don't know nothing about football, but I know about the quarterback, and them words on the field not real. But when the quarterback throw the ball, if you're not in position to receive it, you're going to extend the game or your game going to be over prematurely. So it's important that you think about the Most High's will as your position. You want to play your position. You want to make sure that the team that's assigned to you is winning. And the only way they can do that is if you're where you're supposed to be, listen to me, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally mature. How do you get there? You do the work. You can't be in position to save somebody from being broke their whole life. What if Coach wasn't in position, y'all? And I
wouldn't be in position.
Come on, Medina. And we came through here talking about, oh, I'm 40. I hate this corporate job. What am I supposed to do with these gifts I have? And if she wasn't in position, we would still be on our jobs. I know I would. Getting that 3-year itch again. I gotta find me another job because this ain't it.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta play your position. And if you don't know your position, you gotta get a coach, just like the NFL players. Nobody out there with all that talent and nobody to harness it. They can't coach themselves to no championship. Too many coaches and not enough coaches cause you to lose the game. Period.
That's right. And you know, they always say there's no I in team. Everything that you do, you have to have a team. So how can you think you can do life without a team? You got to have a team. You have got to have someone that is there to check and balance for you. You got to have somebody say, nah, you're not on point. Yeah, you're on point. And then, like you said earlier, people will see potential in you that you don't even see.
Mhm.
And I mean, you're missing the mark all because you don't want to take the time and the money to get the resources to properly get you to where you should be. I'm telling you, you could run around, as they say, with a chicken with your head cut off. You
Mhm.
better get yourself in position and get in position quickly. Go to that link bit.ly/purpose power 2020 and make sure that you get your seat in the house, because you do not want to continue to walk around not allowing your gifts and talents to make room with you for you. I was reading a book this past week, and it said, I go to work for wages, but I do my part-time job for my fortune. And that sat on me like some heavy bricks.
Come on now.
I said, wow. He said, I didn't quit my job immediately when I started making money. He said, because had to use that as my storyline.
Mm.
I had to let them know that I go to work for wages, but I have my side part, that my purpose that I'm supposed to do, that's for my fortune. And let me tell you something, I like the fortune part. The wages is only can go to a certain level. That fortune is infinity. So I suggest, again, I don't know how many times I'll say it till we get off the broadcast. Go to bit.ly/purpose power 2020 now. Get your spot so that you can learn what you're supposed to do. You can learn how to make those gifts and talents make room for you. We're supposed to be living an abundant life.
Say that.
If you're not in his will, you cannot partake in those things that he say in his word. He says that everything is ours. We're supposed to have dominion. If we're supposed to have dominion, how are you going to have dominion over something you don't even know why you're here? I just don't know how that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. The greatest thing I could have done, the greatest investment I could have made, was finding out my purpose. I couldn't even move forward. I mean, there's so many things that have just come out of me knowing my purpose. Not just I mean, the things that I sit back as I went through class, I sat back and things start coming that happened, while ago. And you hear people say, oh, your pain will be your purpose, your test will be your testimony. But it's not until that awakening moment that I realized why I went through so many things that I went through. And it all tied right back into I'm walking in purpose. I've got to know what it is. And when I found out what it is, I'm telling you, I have so many books and tablets over here written down of things that I need to just, get out. Because it's amazing when you find your purpose. I mean, your life it's just a change. I mean, it's just a shift that you go through. It's not really explainable. You just have to do it. You just have to do it.
It's a spiritual shift.
Mm-hmm.
There's something about when purpose meets his will, right? It's this area in this space of I know that I know that I know that I'm supposed to be doing this, right? It's this. There's nobody within the sound of my voice that can tell me I'm not supposed to be doing this, and I'm killing it, right? So I think a lot of times we get so confused with accolades from our bosses, our supervisors, pastor them. And no disrespect and no shade towards pastor. Pastor is there to help you get quiet and still enough for you to hear the Most High tell you what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I've had people say a lot of times, well, Chanel, I can't really hear from the Most High. I don't think he really talks to me. Y'all, he's still speaking. He is still speaking. Now, some of us don't like what he got to say. If it's opposite from the plans that we've made for ourselves. But listen, let me tell you something. I would rather walk in the plans that he made for me than to walk in the plans that I made for myself and they fail.
Amen.
Because
Yes.
they fail. He can't fail. Y'all just need to write that in the comments. He can't fail. There's no way. He don't know how to fail.
It's like you sit there and you pray, God. It reminds me of a man out on the water, and he says, "Save me, Lord, I'm drowning. Save me." A little tugboat passed by. You need any help? No, I'm waiting on something else. I got it. He's sending something else. Another boat passed by. Now I'm waiting. Then he starts saying, "Oh my God, I'm drowning." God said, "Well, I done sent two boats by. You know, you didn't even get on them." So he sends things our way, and we just let it pass on by, let it pass on by. And that goes back to what you say, being in those still moments, even right now, this week, you all, whoever may be watching the broadcast, you could have been praying, Lord, I need to do something. What do I need to do? Bam, here's the broadcast. Well, he's sending you signs. Don't ignore the signs that God sends you. Get in your still place, pray about it, get online, go to bit.ly/purposepower2020 and register and see won't things change in your life because you will be in alignment with God. I'm telling you, walking outside of your purpose is probably the most worst thing that you can do. I walked around 10 years, licensed minister, mind you, licensed minister, which means I know his word.
Yeah.
10 years, got into a rut, wasn't doing anything. When I started, come along to this community, I feel like the old me, like, oh my God, the things that I'm supposed to do, I'm doing it. I don't know what happened. That 10 years was a blur. It was just a blur. It's just, but I figured it was because I was not walking in my purpose. I became disabled, was sitting at home, wasn't around people. And so that kind of took me, into a shell. When I go to the grocery store, maybe, yeah, I talk to somebody about him but it's when I came here, it's like, I came out of the cocoon. I'm telling you, I came out of the cocoon and picked up journals that I've written a long time ago, and here we are, make it full circle. Full circle.
Medina, it's this thing that happens in our spirits. It's like what the word says in Ephesians that he quickened us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what quicken means? That means something that was dead was brought back to life. Do y'all understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
That means that the dreams that you had, there's a quickening that happens. Your dreams are brought back to life. Those things that you thought were lost to you, suddenly you find them again. So when you start to really, really start to seek, listen to me. When you put it in your mind that this is my time for me to figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm going to start this journey. I'm going to start seeking what it is he has for me. Y'all, I can't even explain it to y'all. It's almost like when it's pitch dark outside and somebody turns on a light.
Oh my God.
It's like a guide onto your path. It's like, look, this is the way that you should be going. And you know it, y'all, because things begin to fall in place for you. I can remember when I got my first corporate job. Oh, I thought I had made it. I made great money. I had the little plaque on the outside of my door. I had a little voice in the boardroom. Oh, that was it. That was it. I'm here now. She has arrived, right? Until I sat down for my first review. And that review, whatever little confidence I had, right? Oh, you do great. This is wonderful that you can hit these deadlines. You can do this. But these 9 things are the things that I need you. It probably wasn't 9, but it felt like 9, right? These things I need you to work on because, you're just missing the mark. And so you thinking that you have arrived, you're killing the game, right? And every year, y'all, is something wrong with you. Now, don't get me wrong. I do believe that people evolve and do better and they grow professionally. But every year, y'all, is just enough stuff wrong with me that I can't make the top tier of my pay grade. every year, you were tardy that one time. So it's this thing that it does. It just chips away at your confidence. It
Mhm.
chips away at your identity. And then you just sit there and you're like, well, God, dog, who am I? Can I do anything right? Will I ever make the money that I'm supposed to make? So at the point of and the risk of walking in a lonely place, because not knowing your purpose is lonely, because you're trying to fit in spaces that can't hold you, because your greatness wasn't designed for that space. I hope y'all hear me. So you're thinking that something is wrong with you. Nothing's wrong with you. You're in the wrong space. You play in the wrong position. Need to figure out what position you're supposed to be playing and then guard it. Run the play. Let me stop talking like I know how to play
You look,
football.
you were talking about football earlier, and I don't know how many football fans we have out there, but it's almost like being the receiver and you're supposed to be on defense.
There you go.
Like you are so out of place. So out of place. Just can you imagine a receiver on defense? That's crazy.
The
That's
receiver, the
crazy.
one that catch the ball, right?
Yes, the
See, there you
receiver runs
go.
and catch the ball. The defense guard you from those are the big guys. Receivers usually are skinny, skinny. They got to run far, catch a ball. So imagine when you're out of place. Boy, if a receiver was a defensive lineman, they get ran over, poor little thing, bones broken. And that's likely how it is when you're not in purpose. It's not broken bones per se, but like you say, your feelings get hurt because they say, oh, this one thing, you've done 10 things
Right.
great, but this one thing you didn't do great. Or, you have somebody that says, you know, um, like earlier, somebody said, we were on another call. They said, oh, that woman talked too much, but you're just in your purpose. How do you know that, speaking is not what God has
That's
ordained you to
good.
do?
That's
You know,
good.
I mean, to you, it might be too much, but to the masses that need me, because let me just say, walking in your purpose, there is somebody out there that need what you have.
Mhm.
When you're out of purpose, guess who else you affect? Those people that need what you have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you're not in alignment, that could be 10, that could be 100, that could be 1,000, that could be thousands of individuals that are not in alignment just because little old you are not in alignment.
And when you're not in alignment, you know what else can't find you? Your abundance.
Mm-mm.
You looking for ways to make money. You looking for ways to put your child through school. You looking for this extra cushion you need in your budget. When you would just line up with your purpose, your abundance will flow. Legacy will be created. I feel like sometimes, Medina, and we're gonna get ready to wrap up, but I feel like sometimes we would rather believe the lie that this world tells us than to seek
Mm-hmm.
out the truth.
Mm-hmm.
We would rather believe that we could get rich on a job, or they're gonna finally pay us what we're worth. When the Most High said to us, whatever you need is already in you. Go out there and do it. All you
You
have
know,
to do is believe.
today it hit me. I was listening to a book. I'm listening to an audio, and he talks about a young man that lived in New Orleans. That um, it was a long time ago, and war came into his area, so everybody in the area left. They called it an island, but it really was a salt dune. And when they came back, it was just destroyed. So a lot of people say, oh no. But before he left, one of his friends had bought him a chili pepper. He had a sugar cane crop, but he planted those chili peppers before the war. So he came back and everybody's like, oh no, we're leaving. We're going back to Texas, or we're going back to, other parts of Louisiana. We're not staying here. This is a mess. He stayed. And he was at first, like, oh my God. And he looked out and he said, oh, wow, those chili peppers are growing. And out of that, the great company of Tabasco was born.
Wow, that's an incredible story.
They are 5 generations deep. So imagine if he would have left town just like everybody else, 5 generations
Wow, that's powerful.
would be out of alignment out of his one decision. So
Wow.
I encourage you, make the one decision so that 5 or more generations can come after you. Go to bit.ly/purpose power 2020. Get your ticket today. You'll get a free purpose journal. I would do it. I mean, just take that story alone. Like, that was powerful.
Very powerful.
Just one person being in alignment, you say 5 generations.
My goodness. Wow. Wow. Y'all, bit.ly/purpose power 2020. At least start your journey by getting the purpose journal. Go ahead and read through it and start imagining, start dreaming again. It's not too late, whether you're 19 or 99, it's never too late for you to walk in purpose. So, guys, we'll be here in the morning at 6:30 ish to continue this conversation. We'll be having this conversation all week. Medina, thank you so much for joining me here tonight. As always, you're just so full of wisdom and just your transparency and with the clarity that you tell your story. I pray somebody was moved by it and that their lives will be changed. Guys, we'll see you in the morning. Thank you guys for stopping by.
Good
Take care.
night.